Imagine growing up in a very diverse city where people have no prior judgment. You learn valuable lessons, and people accept all forms of human life. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't exist. But the closest thing to that existing is New York City. Hello, everyone. My name is Ishmael Anidan, and I was fortunate enough to grow up and live in New York City. Living in New York City has many perks to it. For instance, there are just some things that New York City provides that other places don't. Like, for example, imagine being from a place where you can get a large slice of cheese pizza that tastes better than most food chains and only costs $1. Or imagine you can literally walk straight for 10 minutes and be in a location where you're either completely lost or you've just found a new location to post for your Instagram. Or tell me a location where you're simultaneously harassed and being begged for money while being on the subway car train. However, one thing about New York City that sticks out to me and most people from there is no matter how you look or the way you talk, you'll never be seen as different. Because the one thing that joins all of New Yorkers together, as well as the city, is that we embrace differences. So, if you've never been, or you're just looking for a place to spend some quality time at, maybe you should consider visiting New York City. Thank you everyone for listening. Hope you have a great night.
Good. Good. Well done. Go ahead.
So, how many?
No, go ahead.
Okay. How many of you are interested in playing video games? Just raise your hand. All right, that's great. So, I'm also a big fan of playing video games, especially League of Legends. So, according to the statistic in 2018, the amount of people playing League of Legends has reached over 100 millions, which is an amazing number. So I'm Benny. Today I'll be introducing my favorite video games, League of Legends. So first of all, the game is composed of 10 players, which each of them is going to choose their own character, and the ultimate goal of the game is to destroy the enemy's nexus. And then since the game is split into two teams, the cooperation between the team is essential for winning the game. Therefore, I will always voice call my friend when I'm playing the game. And that's actually the most enjoyable aspect of playing the game. And if you are an expert of playing this game, you can choose to become a professional player. And nowadays, the professional players has systematical training, coaches, and also even data analysis for the team. A fun fact is that some players, great players, can earn millions of dollars a year just by playing the game. So in conclusion, the amazing number of players playing the game and the interest of playing the game, as well as the development of the professional league gaming, makes League of Legends the most popular game in the world. And that's the reason why I will spend my weekend playing the game with my friends. Thank you.
Good. Very good. Good job. Elias?
When someone needs a personal desktop computer, they'll often either go online and buy one, or they will go to the store and pick one off the shelf. For most people, this is fine, but for me, I like to build my own. I'm Elias Dehar, and the machines I build at my house are quite different from the ones you find at the store. So, the ones you pick up at the store, pre-built desktop machines are they're built with the cheapest components money can buy in order to make the most money for the company that produces and sells them. So PC building is like kind of similar to Legos. There's only like 8 standard components, each of which go through like rigorous standards to make building them for the user like really easy, right? What I do, however, is I use more non-standardized components and I modify them so they produce what I specifically want them to do, as opposed to what the company that made them designed them to do, such as BIOS modifications, physically tampering with the components, etc. So it's kind of like the unorthodox Lego building techniques that you've probably done when you take pieces and you stick them where the Lego designers didn't intend them to go. But the riskiest part about it is that when you damage a component, the risk that comes with damaging the component is not as great as the chance that you also just voided the warranty. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary folks. I do not want to assume anyone's gender, so I'm going to say non-binary. My name is Yadi Flores, and I want to take a poll of the class. Who loves shopping? Good food? I'm starving. Music such as hip-hop and R&B? Most of the class. Who loves sports such as soccer, track, basketball, baseball, any sport known to man? Alright, bear with me, folks. At least everyone in this classroom raised their hand for one question. That means I have a place that can answer all your hopes, wishes, and desires. Now that place is the Bronx. The Boogie Down Bronx is my hometown, or my borough. It's one of the best boroughs in New York City. It has the richest culture, such as artists like A Boogie and J-Lo and Cardi B. I know these artists may be a little risky, but it's okay. The Bronx Zoo also has cute little animals such as pandas. You could go shopping on Fordham Road to get like clothes, sneakers, fresh kicks, Yeezys off the block, and the best video games known to man. The Boogie Down Bronx is by far the best place because of the signature sandwiches in the delis, the chopped cheese, and the bacon, egg, and cheese. And if you don't eat meat, remove the bacon. Or if you don't eat cheese, if you don't eat eggs, get yourself a grilled cheese from a deli. If you are ever in New York City and you want to go to the Bronx to enrich yourself with the sandwiches, go to the Bronx Zoo, buy fresh clothes, you have to go. Thank you so much.
You may go whenever you're set.
All right, great. So collectively, we as a student population pay a large sum to attend Syracuse University. Some of us in this classroom have even traveled as far as Asia to come and attend Syracuse University. Yet, there's a serious issue with laundry facilities provided for those who live in in-campus housing. My name is Catherine Forrest, and I'm here speaking tonight about how the issue of laundry rooms for in-campus housing that are unmaintained, unsanitary, and often unusable. So, laundry rooms are a basic human utility that's crucial to one's health and hygiene. So why is there such a lack of campus faculty making sure that these are managed. Students often suffer from being forced to use outdated machines that are very sensitive because they've been so overused. These machines, often students who live busy lifestyles, are taking, their belongings and shoving them in these really small machines, and this often causes these machines to malfunction and break. So because these machines are so outdated and overused, they break often. Therefore, this calls for faculty and maintenance to be needed often. But however, even though we pay such a large sum to go to this school, that doesn't really happen. There have been so many times that I've had to wait 3 weeks or seen a machine that's been sitting there for 3 weeks that has just not been maintained. Not only this, but that these machines aren't often cleaned. Thus, you usually find, like in the dryers, that there will be just
Time.
All right, thank you.
I've already forgotten. I did say we were going to take a break or two within. I've already
I think it's 5 minutes.
Was it going to be? Was it going to be after Catherine, before Daniel? I've forgotten. Do you remember? Did anybody read that presentation schedule? I don't really care.
I don't know.
We can just. We're already at it. You guys are going to be out here pretty early tonight. But
Yeah.
I have you
It's
after
Daniel- it's
Catherine, I
Daniel and
think.
Elizabeth.
Right?
Daniel and
Oh, she's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
here. That's why. Got it.
yeah, after him it's a break.
I never thought about it.
Good afternoon, or evening for some people. Just a quick poll. How many people in the room ever played sports? Video games do not count as sports, unless you get paid. Who else? Okay, so everybody in the room is playing sports. Okay. Well, there's a common misconception that one player is all it takes to make your team great. You know, you can draft your LeBron James, and all of a sudden your team goes to the finals. You can pick up Tom Brady, and all of a sudden your team is in the playoffs. However, I'm here today to tell you that is not true. Hello guys, my name is Daniel, and let's talk about sports. Let's talk about teamwork. Let's talk about what it takes to be great. In the Super Bowl, all eyes were on Patrick Mahomes and the quarterbacks. However, we've seen that this is not only the case with basketball, football, tennis, many other team sports. People tend to focus on one player. However, a team is only as strong as all the people that make up that team. As evident in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs won the game because of their defense and their coaching. Patrick Mahomes was just a part of the puzzle. Now, I forgot what I was saying. Okay. So, let us not forget the lessons that we learn when we play sports. Discipline, dedication, and trust. However, the most important lesson in life and in sports is that the best player on any team is only as good as all the pieces that surround them. Thank you.
Kelly?
So, hi, my name is Kelly, and today my topic is why Chinese students are so good at math. So, I have questions. How many of you think that Chinese students are so good at math? Like a math genius? Okay. So, as a Chinese Chinese international students, I often hear some compliments that, wow, you must be so good at math. Chinese students are math genius. But this statement is sometimes not correct. Well, absolutely not correct for me. When I was studying in my country, I was really, I was never my math teacher's favorite student, nor did my parents ever expect me to do well in math. However, the Chinese education weighs heavily on math, especially is considered the major subject that all students should focus on before college. So, one stupid thing that I remember in my high school was my PE class teacher canceled all my PE classes during my final exam and gave the time to my math teacher to hold the math class, which is so stupid. When I was studying in the US, I was shocked to know how students could devote themselves into different aspects in school. Whether it's academics, sports, or music. In the conclusion, I want to say that Chinese students are not born as math genius. Just like how the professional.
It's okay. You can finish a sentence. You don't have to literally say. It's fine. I mean, you could just say, and you can finish your thought.
So, in conclusion, I want to say that just like how professional athletes worked really hard to achieve their goals, but Chinese students' brilliance in math is also the result of doing tons of hours of hard work. That's it.
Do you folks want a breather, or do you want to keep moving ahead?
Keep going.
You ready?
I think it's Declan. I believe, alphabetically.
Yes. That's a big boy. Yes, big boy.
Can I start?
Yes, you may.
All right. So, just a quick question: does anybody here listen to Skepta? All right. What about Lancey Foe? No. Or what about UK rap in general? All right. So a couple of you guys do, but nobody raised their hand for Lancey. So Lancey Foe is a 19-year-old rapper from the UK of African descent, and he just dropped his latest album on the 19th of December. So he normally dresses like how I'm dressing today, with the turtleneck and like chains and stuff. That's why I wore this attire. And also, the album that he dropped is UK Grime, which is a subgenre of rap. And it has 20 songs inside of it, and it's about like 45 minutes. And the most popular songs on it are India and Dream. But my favorite, personally, is Life and Death and So Free. So his album talks about different stuff regarding like love, death, drugs also. So there's a wide variety of sounds in it. So yeah, there's a lot of emotions coming out of the album. So whichever mood you're feeling, you can listen to the album anytime. The beats that he uses relate to Playboi Carti and Young Thug. So he gets his inspiration from them too. So yeah, thank you for your time, for listening to me, and hopefully you can give Lancey Foe a chance. And yeah, thank you.
Joke's on y'all, he's Lancey Foe.
All right, Justin.
how many of you guys have a driver's license? And how many are planning on buying a car at some point in the future? So, my name's Justin, and I'm here to argue that your next car should be an electric car. So there's 4 main reasons why you should choose your next car to be electric. The first is savings. You can get tax credits up to $10,000 off the initial price of your car if you buy an electric car in certain states, and depends on the car manufacturer. And you can also get savings off the operating cost of the car. It's about half of the cost as a gas car. The second reason is performance. Electric cars have instant torque, so they can accelerate really quick, and a gas car cannot compete with that. Third reason is safety. They have much better safety because they don't have an engine in front of the car in case you get in front of the collision. So it's much safer, and the batteries keep the weight at the floor, so they're less likely to flip over. And many electric cars are some of the safest cars on the road. And the last reason is that electric cars are obviously better for the environment. So you get all these benefits, and you get a car that's better for the environment. So I think you should choose your next car to be electric.
Great. Joseph L. Yes, thank you.
So, hey guys, anyone here ever solved a Rubik's Cube? Okay, so like Al, I don't know, I'm really lost here. I have a bet riding on this, I have a lot of money to lose, please, please, please. Oh my god, my name is Joe Lawler, by the way, find me after class. But no, just kidding, really. I've been trying to solve it forever now. I'm just like, trying to find a way to really proceed. And, you know, I was thinking the other day, what did my parents tell me when I had a problem that I really couldn't solve on my own? Where did I have to go back to? The first thing I thought was, my stepdad told me, he's an engineer. He has an interesting way of solving problems. So I decided to ask him. I'd be like, hey, Cliff, how do I approach solving this Rubik's Cube? And he told me, well, you gotta analyze the problem first. You gotta see what you're trying to achieve here. What's your desired outcome? And second, you gotta try something. Try anything. Just go for it. Try one thing. And 3, you gotta fail. You gotta fail over and over again. Blow it all up until you realize, what went wrong the last time, and go back to step 1. And I thought, wow, that's basically, as an engineer, you're admitting you just fail all the time and that's your job. And he was like, yeah. And I think that's an interesting way of solving problems and looking at the world. You have to be willing to blow up the progress you have to continue further than you did before.
Time.
Thank you.
Are you finally ready?
Yeah.
Anytime.
Okay. How many of you guys watch TV? Show of hands. So many. How many of you watch it on streaming services like Netflix, HBO, Hulu, yada yada? Amazing. Did you know that in the next year, $35 billion will be spent by streaming services to create new content? Wow, that is a big number. I'm Haley, and I'm a television, radio, film student, and I'll be sort of like breaking down the number. So Netflix is leading the pack with $15 billion in their next budget, followed by Amazon Prime and Apple TV spending $6 billion. Hulu will be spending $3 billion, and last but not least is Disney Plus with $2.5 billion. That's crazy, I'll say it. Most of us will never see numbers like this in our lives, in our bank accounts especially. But just the craziness of keeping up in the streaming game, the cost of staying in the game. Sometimes they describe it an arms race of content, which I find very interesting. So now I want you to think, as you watch your favorite TVs and movies on your various streaming services, think about the billions and billions of dollars that they spend each year to keep you coming back to their service. That's it.
So for the record, all that on a Post-it?
Yeah.
And that worked pretty well for you?
Yeah, well, they're all up here.
But you only used one Post-it.
Yeah.
You had 25 you could have used.
But then I would have to flip through them as I
Exactly.
was going.
It would have been incredibly awkward. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sort of kidding you, but yes, it worked out just fine.
Thanks.
Ready? Anytime?
Okay. Hi, I'm Katie. So, what if I told you that you had the opportunity to visit 9 different cities in Europe over the course of 3 weeks? It sounds like a great chance, right? There's an iSchool course called Eurotech, which allows you to do just this. Eurotech is a study abroad course that allows you to get credits for your study abroad requirements while also going on a vacation in Europe for 3 weeks at the end of the summer. So this course, since it's a class, it's split between vacationing and exploring Europe and visiting different technology companies in Europe and learning how they implement technology into their workplace. So some of the places that we visit in Europe include London, Paris, Brussels, Bruges, Amsterdam, Geneva, Munich, Venice, and Rome. At each of these places we have time to explore the city on our own and kind of have fun and see what it's like in Europe, while also going on group visits to different cultural attractions. Like in Paris, we visit the Louvre, and in Amsterdam, we visit the Anne Frank House, and even having dinner on top of the Eiffel Tower. But since it's a class, we also spend time at those companies that I was saying. Some of the companies in the past have included Nestle and Heineken. And at these companies, you get to learn how they implement technology into what they do, even if it's not a technology company. So I think it's a really great chance to learn more about different cultures in different cities, while also learning how technology is implemented in the real business world. And I encourage everyone to apply next year if you have the chance.
Did you just go? Going next summer. Yes, sir.
I'm going to start with 2 questions for the class. How many of you ever been fishing before? Now, how many of you actually enjoyed it? I was expected. Now, I'm here to tell you why. Fishing is really up to you and how you enjoy it. There's different ways you can go about it, and the enjoyment is really up to you. I'm Julian Matthews, and I've been an avid angler ever since I was 5 years old. It started when my father took me to a local pond, and I caught my first fish, and ever since then I was hooked. Now, for most people, when they go fishing, they think it's a boring, waste of time, unproductive thing. But that's just incorrect. It's really up to where you go fishing and how you decide to fish. If you're into the more action-packed, constant excitement, go to the beach fishing, battling the waves while reeling in on that next big fish. Or if you're more like me, with a more laid back, likes to take your time, go to any local pond. You can take your time and fish at your own pace. And there's also some people who don't like to get their hands dirty at all. There's still a way to fish for you that you can get any piece of frozen meat, tied to a piece of rope, drop it in the water, and next thing you know you're crabbing, reeling in crab after crab without having to get your hands dirty. It's an easy way to have a good time, and anyone can do it. I fished ponds, rivers, lakes, streams, oceans, you name a body of water, I fished it. And I can tell you, each location comes with its own set of challenges and difficulties that let fishing be a fun experience for anyone. Fishing is dated back around 40,000 years in Eastern Asia, and it's stuck around for good reason. It's easy to do, and anyone can do it. All you need is a rod, reel, piece of bait, and a body of water.
And a day to sit in a boat. I know, I can battle the waves, yes. Yes, Ethan next.
So, I'm guessing most of you have played the board game Monopoly before, right? And I'm sure most of you would consider that game that you would not want to play, every day, every week. A lot of people don't like Monopoly. Well, my name is Ethan Degorski, and I'm going to tell you why Monopoly is my favorite board game. So Monopoly is a game of strategy and chance. There's a lot of different strategies and approaches that you can take in playing the game. The goal is to build up your wealth by getting a bunch of different properties and trying to acquire all the different colors and house sets, right? And then you're trying to destroy your opponents by driving them to bankruptcy. What a wild idea. So I like to play by house rules, which means I don't like to follow the rules that are in the game. I like to make different trades, various deals with my opponents, making alliances and having property immunity and rent immunity. And that's how I find it to be a lot of fun. I like to make, it also makes the game go a lot quicker. So what's more exciting than seeing your family being torn apart, all your friendships ruined, and whoever you're playing against just kind of attack each other for a short 2-hour game. It brings out the worst in your family, is what I'm trying to say. Another thing about Monopoly is that it's a good way to practice your negotiation skills and bargaining skills, something that we don't really get to practice in everyday life without having any kind of consequence. So Monopoly is a good way to practice that. This idea of having a short game of Monopoly is never going to happen because you rarely finish a game before someone storms off and leaves the table. And that is why I love Monopoly.
I got to play the Syracuse edition over Christmas time.
I have Dogopoly.
Dogopoly? I hate to ask. What is it? Won the Westminster Kennel.
Yeah,
Go to jail.
Great Dane is like Boardwalk.
Great Dane is Boardwalk? Let's see. Joseph. Yes. Joseph followed by Arman and Jordy.
I can start.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joseph Newborn. And to start off, can I give a show of hands? Has anyone ever been hacked online before? Well, getting hacked is never fun, but there are 3 easy ways to make yourself more secure online. Number 1, that is by using 2-factor authentication. And banking systems, Twitter, Facebook, they all support that feature, and they have it in their settings. It's really easy to enable it, and what it does when you log into your computer, you're also going to have to get a text message of a code that you're going to also have to put in. And this is important because if a hacker were to get your passcode somehow, he would also need to somehow steal your phone, which would be a lot harder. Number 2, never use the same password for like a bunch of the same apps. That's one of the easiest ways for hackers to get your passcode, because if you're using the same Twitter password for your banking system, then you'll have both of those. And number 3, finally, is to always update your computer software, because those updates are to fix attacks that hackers figure out how to do to get into your computer. And with the theft of your identity, hackers will be able to do a lot of things, a lot of malicious things. They'll have your credit card information, social security maybe, and just a lot of things that you don't want to go through. And at the end of the day, we live in a world full of like technology, and you just always want to stay safe out there. So these are 3 easy ways to make yourself more secure online. Thank you.
Sante.
Who here would believe me if I told you that over 3.5 billion people, or nearly half the Earth's population, tuned into one sporting event? It's a crazy fact, but it's true. That sporting event is the World Cup. My name is Armon Raffing, and I've been playing soccer ever since I could walk. I think that soccer is the greatest and most popular sport in the world, and I'm here to tell you why I think that. The World Cup is a sequence of 64 soccer matches, with each soccer match averaging 191 million live viewers. 3.572 billion people watched at least 1 minute of the 2018 World Cup held in Russia, and 1.12 billion people watched the final game between Croatia and France. Let me put that into perspective for you. That's 48% of every single living human being on this planet that tuned in to one sporting event. Now you could say, well, that's just because everybody in the world plays soccer. Let's say you take something like football that's played primarily in the US, that'll definitely crush soccer in the United States. But that's where you're wrong. In 2019, the Super Bowl only had 98 million viewers in the US, while the 2014 World Cup had 105 million viewers in the US. Now I've only had time to compare the World Cup to the Super Bowl, but I guarantee you that soccer is more popular than any other sport that you can think of. Thank you.
So we have Jordy, Corey, Sheldon, Yuchen. I believe that's it.
Can I get a show of hands of anybody who remembers anything from their infancy? Anything. Alright, that's barely anybody in this classroom. I'm Jordy Reyes, and the majority of humans don't remember anything from their infancy. However, a lot of cultures, such as mine, my Hispanic background, they came up with rather a solution to this issue. And this issue is jewelry. So, from birth, in my case, I was given this gold chain from the minute I was born. This gold chain, it pretty much signifies the first gift given to a child. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, how does that solve the issue of not remembering anything from your infancy? This chain reminds me of the love given to me from the minute I was born. I feel like the love given to me by my family is pretty much the only thing I need to remember from my infancy. When we were infants, those are the good old times when all we had to worry about was being fed, and all we had to do was cry out whenever we were hungry. So maybe in the future, when you're about to have kids, think about getting your child a necklace, gold chain, anything that resembles your love for them. And I promise you, they will always wear it, and they will never forget the love you have. Thank
you. Really nice, Jordy. Great job with the chain. Perfect. Perfect for it.
Good evening, everybody. How many here have ever had a huge amount of stress or felt overwhelmed for a prolonged period of time? Okay, almost everybody. And if you haven't, there's a very good chance that you will at some point in your career. My name is Corey Spangler, and I'm here to talk to you about the complications of a burnout and how to prevent it. So a burnout can have many complications to include extreme anxiety, loss of sleep, loss of work ethic, and it can even cause heart disease over a prolonged period of time. Now, one thing that is extremely essential and very simple to do to mitigate this and prevent it is to find ways that work best for you to relieve your stress. Things that you enjoy and is very key for your well-being. For myself, professional experience from work to school and handling the Navy Reserves, what works for me is I go and I work out. I feel better physically and it refreshes my mind mentally. I'm ready to combat what I need to the next day to get the job done. If it's something that causes extreme anxiety and it happens to be something that's short term, I'll walk away from it. I'll take a 5-minute, 10-minute brisk walk. It refreshes my mind, and most of the time, I figure out my problem and I solve the issue when I get back to it. The main goal here for everybody is you have to find what works well for you. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions? All right. Everybody take care and do your best not to burn yourself out.
Hello, my name is Sheldon Stone, and when I think of a smoker, I think of you, my teacher. Well, not just any smoker. I want to clear that out. There's cigarette smokers, and then there's weed smokers, but then there's a third smoker that your parents don't tell you about, CBD smokers. Now, CBD is the leading ingredient in marijuana that doesn't get you high. However, it does relax you. Now, I think of our teacher because he's so well spoken. He doesn't have a raspy voice. He doesn't seem like he has any sort of disease attacking his body. And this is because he doesn't smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes are the leading cause of diseases like that. And THC is said to prevent this, but CBD actually could prevent all these diseases. It could prevent you having a hoarse throat or developing cancer. It could prevent addiction at the finest, actually. Now let me lead into that into a little more. If you smoke CBD as a cigarette, which is just a CBD cig, nothing but CBD, this could prevent you from having the urge to smoke actual cigarettes and from not wanting to smoke weed. Because when you smoke CBD, fun fact, you can't get high afterwards because the CBD balances out your levels and actually prevents you from getting high. Fun fact. So I am here to tell you that if you have a family member or a friend that is suffering from addiction of cigarettes or weed, and you feel like these could prevent them from having this urge to always put something from their hand to their mouth, it could be a Juul, an e-cig, anything, introduce them to CBD cigarettes, because it could change their life. Thank you.
You are. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Alright, started. Attacking. The key elements to any sport in this world. Also in soccer. Armand, what's your favorite team in Premier League?
Liverpool.
Gotcha. Liverpool. In the recent 3 or 4 years, have been labeled as the best attacking team in the Euro. I'm Guchen, a grown-up Arsenal fan in the Premier League. I'm gonna tell you how Arsenal is the best team in the world. I'm gonna give you some numbers first. 22. In the past 22 years, Arsenal Wenger has served as the head coach at Arsenal. And during these 22 years, 20 years they have finished in the top 4 places in the Premier League, which guarantees them to have a European competition spot. And 49 unbeaten records for Arsenal in the Premier League. And currently is still the #1 record that hasn't been broken by any of the team else. 72%. There's a game that Arsenal holds 72% of the possession, which means 72% of the entire game Arsenal is holding the game, attacking their opponent. Of all these numbers, it shows you how Arsenal is a really good attacking team. Secondly, the fan base. Everywhere we go, we all see Arsenal fans dressing in their Arsenal jersey. Europe, Africa, Asia, North America, South America, even in Antarctica. Thirdly, about the finance. Arsenal, as known, is a team that doesn't have so much strong financial capabilities, but it still guarantees them to finish up in the top 4 position, like I mentioned before, which guarantees them to the European Champions League, the best soccer game ever in the world after World Cup. So, of all have been said,
Time.
Thank you.
Okay, so when we get to the point where we're out of time, what I'd like you to do is you can finish a thought. In other words, you can say thank you, good, whatever. You can just sort of bring it to a quick conclusion. You probably don't have time to go into the whole planned conclusion, but it's okay. You can at least bring it to a natural close. Okay, you tell me. You just went through your first one. What'd you think?
Pretty fun. Pretty cool.
Fun, cool. Was it as bad as you thought it would be, or as nerve-wracking, or whatever you might have thought?
I feel like
Yes.
I was more nervous than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
You were more nervous when you said.
It's out of my natural environment from how I usually would present. I'm used to presenting more technical data at work, and I know that I'm very familiar with faces. I know them more personally. I don't know all of you personally on that level, so to me, I think that made me a little bit more nervous presenting form, which I find interesting.
I understand. It's good that if you already know I'm comfortable presenting to colleagues, developing the skill of presenting to non-colleagues is something that will then serve you, whatever situation awaits down the road, which is a good thing. But that's fine. Okay, but as time goes on, you'll get to know it. We all know each other better, simply from that 90 seconds of learning something more about you that we didn't know and hearing. So I think even that'll get less. I'm sure it will less intimidating as the weeks go on. Thank you for your honesty. Other thoughts? Anybody?
I just feel like when you get up there, like I feel like it makes more sense to be like, because when you time yourself, when you by yourself, you kind of like, when you're up there, you kind of add stuff to like engage the audience because you kind of see like how they're feeling. So that's why like a lot of times when they say like prepare like a lot less, like more in the sense like don't have like so much content, is because like you kind of add stuff when you're out, like when you're up there. Like if you see the crowd, you kind of see how they react. It's like, oh, I'm gonna say this, and that.
I hear what you're saying. You probably can't. I mean, the old saying is, never go longer than the audience is expecting. But if you go less, they'll love you. Things like that. So that kind of ties in with that.
Connecting that, if you have like a mental game plan, but not like a written game plan of like what you want to say. So like basically it's like a semi-structured kind of idea. It gives you more leeway to forget things, and then you're gonna have to like be forced to like fill it in with natural stuff. But if you do remember stuff and then you want to fill in more information, it's gonna feel more cramped for time. So I feel like the more informal approach of just going in with the big picture and what you want to get across is better than planning out every detail for stuff like this.
I think that's fine as long as when you actually get around to those sharing of the details, it doesn't sound like it's a stream of consciousness, lesser organized thing. I think most people did quite well tonight with presenting what I thought seemed like an organized a series of thoughts. My only concern is if you decide I'm going to come in just sort of too loose, you don't want to give the impression that I'm just sort of winging it with whatever comes into my head up here. You with me? But yes, but I think that if going in a little loose plays to your strengths, then I think it's fine. But I'm not sure going in loose for everybody works well, because it may be.
It varies by topic.
I think it does, and probably by just your comfort level in general with 2 minutes in front of a group too, I think. Yes, Ethan.
I think I started kind of writing my script and knowing what I wanted to say, and when I got up there, kind of all left my head, and I just had like, you know, my note card with the structure that I wanted, and I just kind of went along and started talking, and I found it a lot easier than trying to remember the script and be more distracted. I felt like I was able to be engaged more.
Did you deliver the points you had planned to deliver?
Yeah, I think I missed a few things, but I also, I don't think it hurt me that I forgot some things. And,
Got it.
I added some things on the way. And
Okay, that's good.
Kind of worked out. But
That's good. For what it's worth, from my perspective, and I can just tell from what I saw, none of them came across to me as unorganized or disorganized or really in need of massive reorganization. Some may have seemed a little looser, but I thought in the end there were clearly points that had been developed to support the ideas, and that's fine. So I didn't get a sense that anybody's organization completely fell apart, no matter what happened when if you forgot initially. It's hard, I think, when you're afraid you're going to forget stuff, and you have a card or you have a phone or whatever it is, and you're trying to work off that, but not really, but yet partly are. There's a balance to it, and I guess my best thought is you have to develop the comfort level to where you feel like you really truly know the material enough to really rely less or not at all on the cards and more on just because you know it and you know what you're trying to say. I'm fine. I've told you I'm fine with cards and use of cards, but what I'm kind of trying to gauge as you're all going is how much time are you spending on the card or the phone versus what usually it's the eye contact is the trade-off with the audience. Do I sense that you're kind of spending a bit of time on the phone to the detriment of your audience, maybe not getting more of that personal contact? So I'm trying to look at you all and balance all these kinds of things. But quite honestly, I thought for the first time out, this was really quite strong. I thought most of you did very well, especially for the first one, which, I don't really know how many of you truly are frightened to death by this. Whether you are or not, you all did it, and you all came up with topics that you appeared to know well, and did, I thought overall, a very nice job of that. I also think from what I could tell, this group as an audience, from what I could tell, you did what I hoped, which was you were the best audience they could have, supportive, and that really helps, I think, most people as they go through, especially these first few, to really just get the feel of it and start to develop even a minor sense of comfort that I can do this, I can come up with a thought, a plan, and I can deliver it. So that was good. I was very pleased that the group was as supportive of everybody as you were. So that was terrific. There was a lot of very good, I thought, very good presentation delivery for the first time out. Most of you worked really hard at the beginning. I appreciated the efforts you tried at the beginning to make it engaging. The vast majority of you tried a question. That's fine. A question is an effort to do it. I would just, since most of you tried a question as a beginning in general was somewhat less effective because everybody did it. It's fine, first time out. I'm glad you tried. You're trying to bring the audience in. That's what I'm really asking you to try to do. That's good. But I don't want you to feel like it's what I do. I just ask a question, then I move on. It can work, but of course if everybody does it, it can become kind of, what's he going to ask us now? Or something like that, and that's not really what you want. There are many other ways of engaging from the start. Question is fine, but it's not the only way. So I just want to think about this. We'll talk a little bit more down the road about maybe other deeper dives into hooks and things at the beginning. But that's fine. Just don't think that I must always do a question. Okay? It's okay. Bless you. So for next week, we're already now thinking about the next assignment. And that's the persuasive. So your plan should be for next week, develop a topic. Again, another 90-second thing. Most of you did pretty well with the time. Most of you were able to do this fine in 90 seconds. Think of a topic. What is it that you want? What topic do you want to try to persuade someone about? What a couple of you I thought did what could arguably be persuasive topics tonight. Kind of convincing us why your take on something was a certain way. And it's okay, it worked fine for tonight, but that's what we want to do next week. It's supposed to be to persuade us of a stance. So make sure that your topic next week does get into, it is a stance, probably a debatable point in your mission is to tell us why we should believe that is the right approach to it. So you need to think that up. I'd like you to try to draft, at least do an early draft of the speech to be able to run through it next week. Part of next week's plan is to spend time at the end again with your team running through a quick run through of your presentation in progress as of that point, getting quick feedback from teammates, and again, the feedback is no good if it's just, hey, yeah, good, nice, great. That doesn't give anybody anything to walk away with. Feedback, helpful feedback. I was kind of zoning at the beginning. I wasn't really talking. Maybe you could figure out a way to make me really, whatever. Anything you can give that is constructive and can help make it better. That's really what we're going to try to do. It got a little out of control last time when everybody was just going every which way on that practice. I'm going to try to do it a little more formally, still within teams, but I am going to try to. I'll probably put a clock actually on the big screen and just set a clock going. And say, okay, team, person one in every team, ready, set, go. So there's 6 different number ones going to the team. A clock is up there so you can keep an eye on how long it's running. I think it'll be a little smoother, a little more coordinated, maybe a little more helpful in the end. That's the plan for next week. Any particular loose ends, questions? Anybody at all? Yes, sir.
Next time, are you able to put a timer on the backstory so we can control the time better?
Do you mean next week during the practice?
Like for the next presentation.
Time maybe on the screen in the back. Or stop.
I could